Okay, I'm recording. So welcome to our show, and we have a Gregory Melissen
Yeah.
to talk about his experiences with what's going on in corrections in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
So, what? Like, I'm not even sure where to start. Like, when were you were released recently?
Yes, I was released from Saskatoon Penn on the 19th of November.
And one thing I wanted to ask you is that when you were released, like, because Sherry was saying, like, is there any resources or anything out there for people right now?
There is currently no resources for anyone at the Uptown Athletic Center for if you get out of jail and you don't have any clothing or anything.
Yeah.
You're only given $84 every Monday to go get groceries. If you got to get a cell phone activated because your PO wants it or they won't let you out.
Right.
You basically take a week where you're not going to get food.
How did you how did you make it? Like, how do you, like, where, it must have been pretty stressful to come out and then literally have nothing, hey?
It is. It's been nothing but a shit show of emotion. I've literally had my ups and downs. I've had my mental breakdowns with my PO. I've had mental breakdowns with my family. I've even contemplated about running because of how bad and stressed out I was getting. But due to the people that I do have in my life that is helping me,
Yeah.
they help me out with being able to keep me cool, calm, and collected so I didn't take off and go back behind the wall. This is what happened to me while I was behind the wall. So.
And behind the wall is what, like, I'm interested in, because I don't think a lot of people know, or else they don't want to know, that it's a troubling and pretty toxic environment back there, hey?
It is. It's a very heavy area. When you go into the side of the wall, and I'm speaking on behalf of 700 inmates at Saskatoon Penn. The moment you walk in there, you are no longer the person you were on the street. You gotta pull up your pants. You gotta put on your gang mentality. You gotta watch your back constantly. You got the guards making discriminating jokes at you, calling you racist terms. You're getting denied mental health when you're suicidal. Guys are getting beaten up, punched out. There's a guy that was literally trying to leave population recently because I was in contact with one of the guys at the Penn.
Yeah.
And he couldn't even check in. He was assaulted and he wasn't even allowed to leave the range.
And have you noticed that these particular things are getting worse now that they're, like, with the pandemic? Like, are you noticing more stress?
Oh yeah, everything is way more stress. There's no program. There's guys sitting there that are, like I said, doing life. There's guys that are sitting there that want to go home to their families that have low immune systems. That's looking into releasing guys early due to this COVID pandemic. Like, no. I believe in my own opinion that Saskatoon does not care about any of us inmates. As soon as we walk Saskatoon doors, we are no longer human.
I absolutely agree. Like, it's like it's human rights abuses, and it's like so disgusting. And we tried, Sherry or whatever, she was trying to get a hold of Christine Tell, the Minister of Policing and Corrections. And I agree with what you're saying. I can't find her. I couldn't find her. Like, I still haven't heard from her. And you guys, like, there's guys in Echo 2 and Remand or whatever right now who've been emailing for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely disregard. And you're talking about racism. Like, how do you find with the COs and everybody? Is there like almost like a toxic feeling between everybody?
Well, there is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's moment with your PO to a moment where you're talking to a correctional officer, where you're going to have a couple correctional officers that, yeah, they're going to be nice, but then you're going to have the other ones that are like, that I've seen where it was a guy who was an Aboriginal male who is proud of his religion, like proud of his ancestry and everything.
Yeah.
A correctional officer literally look at him and call him a dirty Indian. Like, really do not have any remorse for us. They do not care about us.
No.
They're walking around with no mask. They didn't even give us hand sanitizer the whole time I was in there when this pandemic started a year ago.
Yeah, no, that's...
All washing our hands with soap. And
yeah.
There's no care for us. At Saskatoon, there isn't.
No. And I think what's being happening now, like we've been reporting on this for like a good week and a half. And it's like more and more people are starting to come out. Like, thank you for coming and saying what you have to say, because I think more and more people are getting with it, that what the government's willing to do behind the wall, hey, is what they're willing to do to the rest of us too, but nobody figured that one out. Yeah.
Like, I've never gone through so much racism in my life, except through elementary school. I was called names and everything.
Yeah.
But I walked into Saskatoon, I literally felt like I was no longer a human. I put in a grievance before I came out of Saskatoon due to Bronson Gordon, one of the guys that's on the range that Jerry was helping me with, because he was the one that actually got me in contact. So I'm going to read this grievance out to you so you guys know exactly what happened.
Yes.
And the 26th of October, before I came out, experiencing suicide thoughts, and I was experiencing night terrors.
Yeah.
So I was sleeping in my sleep, and a correctional officer woke me up, telling me like I was having a night terror and I was yelling in my sleep.
Yeah.
So I put in saying, hey, I'm experiencing night terrors. I asked that CO that night if I could go down to observation cells because I was feeling suicidal. I had a razor blade. They didn't take me. They left me in my room, in my cell. And I sat there from the 26th of October till November 6th when I finally got to meet with someone for my grievance to talk about it. And then I still haven't received any mental help for that. I ended up slitting my own wrist due to it, but I'm not getting any help. They literally look at me and they laugh.
You know, it sounds just absolutely disgusting and totally dehumanizing. And
it is.
I
like I just have to,
I just want to make something real clear too to like the audience. People always talk about rehabilitation. Is there any rehabilitation going on? Like, you're not getting any services inside and you're not getting any outside.
Saskatoon does not believe in their own program.
No.
They don't.
No.
Saskatoon is their housing organization. That is it.
Yeah.
I was there for 3 years and I didn't do my program once. I was waitlisted. I wasn't even given a chance at parole. Nothing. The moment you're sentenced to Saskatoon and you got to go to the penitentiary new line in Saskatoon and you stay there.
Yeah.
Literally have a moment where your DO looks at you and goes, no, you're getting detained till you're sad. And then they look at it and go, you didn't do your program? We might possibly detain you till you're wet.
So it's like they're playing like a catch-22. They're saying, oh, you got to do this, but we won't provide it. Oh, you didn't do what we said, so screw you, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, right. So how are you coping now? Like, do you have access to mental health help now?
I'm still waiting to see a mental health worker, and I live at Oscana's halfway house. Like, I've been here for over a week. I haven't seen any mental health person get on any antidepressants or anything.
Yeah.
I split my wrist. I literally last night was crying all night long over the fact of what happened to me on the inside, which I will bring up.
Yeah.
Because if people didn't know what happened in there and what the guards are willing to look over.
Look the other way. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, personally, with like this show that we do, it's like, yeah, people need to hear your experiences from inside of there, and they need to start paying attention. And
yeah, push the government to change.
Exactly.
What happen is with guys like me that come out of Saskatoon that are willing to speak up.
Yeah, exactly.
And we shouldn't be shunned for it. We shouldn't be hated on because we're coming out and expressing our concerns with how we're being treated in there, and possibly running the risk of being sent back. We of the fact that you're talking about a federal facility.
Exactly. Like you're really, really courageous to do so. And I feel like right now, like you got a lot of people talking about this, and it's really important to get those stories, like your story, out, because you never know that someone else might be, their heart might be like, hey, I'm going to say something too now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you had your you laid your grievance. What date was that?
I laid my grievance on the 23rd of October.
Yes.
And that was for 5 days. I was experiencing night terrors and suicidal thoughts and asking for help. And Ron Martin on the inside, I have mad respect for him, mad love for him. Yeah. He actually was standing there with me when I went and told multiple nurses at the healthcare center in Saskatoon Penn saying, hey, I'm experiencing this, I need help, help me. And they literally laughed at me. They brushed it off and let me go. They put me back on my range, and I literally sat there and cried in this poor guy's house. He's a lifer.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be crying around about stuff like that. He can barely even get to the street. But he still helped me because he knew what they were doing is against the law. It is.
It is. Oh yeah. It's grotesque negligence on part of people who have positions of unwielding power in the province. And I'm happy to tell the world. Like, and it's true what you say. Like when I talk to you, I don't know, Corey, I've been in contact with like other inmates from like remand, and they're saying too, like, to me, the solidarity and the collective action of the inmates shows more leadership than the government.
Yeah, it's true. Like, look at what happened out in 2016 at Saskatoon Penn with a riot because we weren't getting enough food portions. Our food portions went right back to the same size before this riot happened.
Yeah.
Went into Saskatoon Penn weighing 330 pounds. I came out on the 19th of November weighing 180 pounds. I became a needle junkie. I became diagnosed with hepatitis C. I don't trust anyone due to the fact that I was sexually assaulted by another inmate inside the wall.
Yeah.
And was kept by the guards for 3 years while I was inside that wall.
And none of the CEOs took that, they look the other way when it comes to problems like sexual violence on the inside?
Oh, yeah. The guards were literally sitting there going, oh, so that's Billy Waitier's latest victim. And Billy Waitier is a known bad guy. He's a DO. He never will get out. And they literally laughed at me for 3 years straight saying that, oh, haha, you're his victim, you're his latest victim, and then telling me to kill myself. How is that being a proper member of society? When you hear someone is getting sexually assaulted, you hear this, and you don't go and tell the police that this happened, that's negligent.
It's
telling me to kill myself because I was sexually assaulted, you won't help me.
It's totally disgusting, and it's gross negligence. And you know, there's a culture of like, there's a prison culture where like prison rape, ha ha ha, people make a joke like it ain't funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Yeah.
My parents used to make that joke too before I went to the Penn, because I've been a known criminal for 11 years.
Yeah.
But you look up my name, you're going to see shuttling joyrider goes to jail for being a car thief. Yeah. So, at the penitentiary, and I told my mom what happened, my mom sat on the phone crying with me while I was 10, saying, oh my God, boy, I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry I put you through that emotion. And it's like, you guys make jokes about that, but you don't realize that actually happened.
Exactly. And like, that's the thing, it happens, and it's all, and I never see anything. My dad worked in corrections, and he worked in young offenders for 30 years. Never once did anybody go down because of their behavior towards the inmates and their attitude towards human life.
Yeah, it's really disgusting what they're doing with us. Like I said, like, the guards literally laughed at me and told me to kill myself for 3 years. Okay, so you wonder why I became a drug addict on the inside, why I became positive with hepatitis C, why I barely wanted to eat, barely wanted to visit anyone, why my only relationship with my fiance at the time went completely bankrupt bad because it was a toxic place.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I just have to, like, I'm outraged too. Like, it's sick because people think that what people need when they're, like, in pain is more punishment. Like, there's no rehabilitation in this system. There's no way for people to get, like, you went in and you're worse off when you got out.
Yeah, like, I had a job, I had a house, I had a vehicle, I had multiple vehicles, and I was working.
Yeah.
And they took me away from my job. I lost my kids because they died. I lost my dogs because they had to get teased because I couldn't take care of my house. I lost my house, I lost my truck, I lost my business. Now I'm coming out and getting told I can't go work certain places because I'm a known convict that steals cars.
And that's another way that, like, that's another government policy that pisses me off. It's like, well, that the Premier Scott Moe, he killed somebody. He did vehicular homicide, but his daddy had lots of money, so it was no big deal.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, like, we don't have a bunch of money. Like, it makes it feel like the law is only designed for rich people.
The law is designed for anyone that has a pocketbook with an 8-figure-digit bank account.
Yeah.
For anyone who has to be on welfare because he's got ADHD, ODD, bipolar, and now PTSD from the inside. I will never be able to get a proper lawyer where I don't have to fight for my freedom.
Yeah.
When I sit there and go in the courtroom and you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. No. In this country, in Canada,
Yeah.
you are guilty the moment you walk in that courtroom and you're fighting for your freedom. Justin Trudeau needs to change his thing with Scott Moe. People need to rethink their freaking books and change the laws where none of us are being treated how we're supposed to be treated.
No. I agree with you. Like, I feel like this is the incarceration that goes on, especially in Saskatchewan, like, huge amounts of incarceration. And, like, for what? A lot of it is, like, because you're poor. That's why you're in there.
Yeah,
Like, there has to be I agree with you. And I think that's a huge question to be asking. And I think that's something we all have to start thinking about.
Well, think of it. This one kid never got any criminal charges in his life. Never once. He got addicted to crystal meth.
Yeah.
Goes and does a robbery. Gets 6 years on a robbery. He was high in 4.
Yeah.
He's sent to jail. And then you're going to tell him when he gets out, he has to go to the halfway house. And you want him to get a job. When yet at this halfway house I'm sitting at right now in Regina, Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
my city I used to know, I can't go to my mom and my dad's house. I can't go get my own house. You're trying to put me on an ankle bracelet while at a halfway house. And you're trying to block me from going to the hood because I'm an ex-gang member and an ex-drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
But they give you $84 a week. How is that supposed to get you stuff?
It almost.
There's nothing. There's no stuff work for us.
No, it sounds like the exact same catch-22 on the inside. So now you're on the outside, you follow all rules, but we won't give you any way to actually follow the rules because you're going to be broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good points.
How many guys, as soon as they hear that they're going to Off-Scanner Center,
Yeah.
everyone in the community that is a criminal all knows the moment you come to Off-Scanner Center, you are going back. There's no way around it.
Well, it's like they're leaving you optionless.
They are. They're leaving me completely broke, and they're telling me, okay, now you fight for yourself to figure out which one you're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm supposed to change my life around and be the ex-gang member, to be the proper member of society. If you're not going to let me get a proper job and you're not going to help me, like, the moment you get out of the pen, there should be a program installed. It's like we can't even go on welfare while we're here. They block us from doing that.
Yeah.
There should be a program where it's a $2,000 voucher so you can go get shoes, jacket, what you need, get you enough groceries at least to last you 2 months or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's the $84 allowance. That $84 allowance is doing nothing. I'm literally broke. I bought a $50 jacket yesterday, a $10 pack of cigarettes, and I'm already broke.
Oh, $84, it's almost like a joke. That's like a joke number with like inflation and stuff. No, $84 doesn't do much, doesn't go far these days.
It doesn't. Like, it's pretty bad when you go to A&W and your meal costs you $15 for a freaking small onion ring, a Uncle Burger, and a root beer.
Yeah, yeah. No. Like, there's money to be utilized, hey, in government, but it's never utilized the way that it's supposed to be utilized. It's always utilized by these people who kind of want to line their own pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old story there, eh?
It's an old story. I've been in Regina since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was born an Alberta boy, so I mean, I've seen this. I know exactly what these guys do. These head honchos, like the mayor of Regina, the premier Saskatchewan, Scott Moe, Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
They all sit, line their pockets with money so they can give their wives what they want and all their mistresses what they want. So they feel good about themselves when they go home, but yet do they realize that they're actually destroying people's lives?
And you know, a lot of you make a good point there, because a lot of times I think to myself, the real psychopaths and the real criminals wear 3-piece suits and talk in legislation and you know, and it's like these people never get called out for being like basically like violent killers on the people through neglect. Yeah.
Like, Justin Trudeau sits there and says that he's all about fixing the relationship with the white man, like he says, and the Aboriginals. Okay, why don't you go and fix this prison system and get rid of the 80% of inmates in Saskatoon alone are Aboriginal?
Exactly.
Why are you incarcerating Aboriginals?
It's when you're inside, like, what would you say is your estimate of how many people are like Indigenous or Métis?
On the unit I was on, there was approximately 2 non-Aboriginal males. That's a total of 48 people are on a range.
Yeah. And that's just one range there?
Yeah, that's like the one range I'm talking about is G1 and 2, which is ex-gay member range. And it's 2 white guys is on that range, and the rest are all Aboriginal.
Yeah. Like, you know, I thought too, like, I remember, decolonization and this was going to happen and stuff, but I don't see any decolonization.
I don't see it. I still see that statue sitting in Vic Park right now of the colonization prick who destroyed multiple people's ancestry due to the fact that they wanted to control Aboriginals. I'm sorry, but Justin Trudeau's doing the same goddamn thing by sending everyone to jail. Defund CST and change shit, and then maybe you wouldn't have so many people going to jail.
Yeah, I agree. Like, we need to have a bigger conversation about what is a criminal and what is criminal in society, and like what do we need to do to truly decolonize Saskatchewan, you know, and Alberta and Manitoba and everywhere else too.
I'm not gonna lie, I do not feel like I'm a Canadian citizen in the eyes of everyone in this world.
No.
I feel like I'm a foreigner in my own home country, where I've been raised to honor the flag. I went through cadets, everything. And as soon as I went to Saskatoon Penn, I literally feel like I'm no longer a Canadian citizen. I'm a foreigner in my own country.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement for sure. And it's something I've heard before from other people who've been in contact with the criminal justice. It's like, yeah, just totally dehumanizing in every way.
It is. Like, I got sexually assaulted on the inside, like I said.
Yeah.
And I had nothing but night terrors, suicidal thoughts. I even wanted to kill myself multiple times. I wanted to find fenty heroin, try and kill myself because I was no longer human. The moment that jail took that power away from me, took my rights away from me, it's basically like you threw me in Auschwitz, like the Nazis did with the Jews.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say it, but that's exactly what this is. You send us to jail to die.
Yeah. And right now, I think too, like the COVID sort of puts a big light on like how little they're willing to do. Hey.
Yeah, like they're not willing to do anything at Saskatoon. Like this all started, and Justin Trudeau came out and said, "Oh, we're looking into releasing people from jail to depopulate them." Okay, why is it then at Sask Penitentiary every single range is full? We have to have 3 units just for isolation cells for COVID. Okay. How about you start releasing guys with 6 months or less, or with actual mental health issues that need to be fixed? And guys that have low immune systems, why aren't you releasing them?
Those questions make perfect sense, and I think I'm gonna be writing another letter and another thing, because like it's like there's so many options we could be doing right now to like help people right now.
Yeah.
And you know, those are always being ignored, but we're gonna get this up, and we're gonna definitely be harassing the people in charge.
Yeah, I'm not done. If the government thinks that they're gonna try and silence me by sending me back to the wall, I will be in contact with the media again.
Yes.
I am going to be silenced by you guys. I'm not going to be silenced by anyone. My story needs to be out there, and everyone needs to hear.
Yeah, I agree.
That 10 is gross and disgusting.
Oh,
I can almost guarantee you all the listeners right now are thinking that I'm a white man talking about this.
Yeah.
No, I'm an actual Ojibwe First Nation Métis from Quebec that went through this. And I'm proud of my relation with my heritage and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening on the inside is disgusting. The way my PO called me a racist, derogatory name of being called a wagon burner, a goddamn low-life, grubby native, to I couldn't even go back to my own business because I was getting bring stolen vehicles there and rebid them because that's all I'm good for, because I'm a low-life piece of shit native.
Yeah. It's hard to start out on the right foot, and you're like you're saying, you feel like, you know, this is, you know, a foreigner in your own land. It's hard when you start out on the foot where you're never, you know, you always have to be so extra to be accepted.
Yeah, it's garbage. Like, why do I have to sit there and basically turn myself into a white guy and not being to get some notice?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. Like,
no, I don't think so either. And I think that like politically you're seeing a lot of change like all over the world, like all over the globe, and you're seeing like more calls for like, and more people who come out of nowhere and they become like a political voice. And people just want authenticity. Like, we all have to be ourselves or we're never going to figure this out.
exactly. But at the end of the day, like, so many people are scared to talk about what happens on the inside.
Exactly.
That we will get sent back. The government will want to shut us up. They don't want the public knowing what happens on the inside. They don't. They want the public thinking we need the jails because there's so many scary people.
Yeah.
We're sending homeless people to jail. I was homeless. If you look up my name, Gregory Melissen, I literally was the first youth at the downtown Brown location in Regina.
Yeah.
I was from the age of 14 onward.
Yeah.
And I've been nothing but in the system. Why did you send me to jail when I was feeling vehicles to support myself, to try and get myself a roof over my head that the government was not helping with. You put me in foster care where I was sexually assaulted. Then when I ran, you put me back in jail because I ran.
You know, like this story too, like thanks for having the courage to come out too, because it's like, as far as I'm concerned, like provincial care has a lot of problems across the board, from foster right straight through to the incarceration process. Like it's totally messed up.
Like I was taken away from my family. I was taken away from my little niece. Sat there crying for 3 years while her uncle was inside the wall being sexually assaulted, harassed by staff at CSD, and being told that you're lying and fabricating stuff. I've got multiple request lists that I'm literally looking at right now of me saying, why do I have to pay for lawyer calls? Why is it that my health is not being addressed? Why is it that when my knee buckled and I smashed my head off my toilet, I was not taken to go get stitches? I had to get an inmate to put stitches in my eye so I could stop the bleeding. And just before I got out, I want to bring this up too, and I know the guy that I'm going to bring this up for is going to appreciate it.
Okay.
It's Ian Desert. Like, what happened one time is the guard went to reach into his house to block his privacy curtain, which is our way of blocking so we can go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
The guard ended up punching Ian Desert, like an inmate, and literally grabbed him by his throat, held him there, pulled out a can of CO spray and said, "You move, I'm going to spray you." Why is it that the guards are suckering inmates and beating inmates?
Yeah.
Like, every moment,
I think a lot of people attracted to like the CEO positions, and a lot of people, like, you know, that I had contact with too, because like I say, my dad was involved for like years. They sort of like lend themselves to people who, I don't know, man. They shouldn't be working with people. Like, they attract a lot of people who shouldn't be working with people. Like, they attract people who should be cleaning toilets. Exactly.
Well, the shittier thing is, okay, so they're constantly asking about needing guards, because it's so dangerous in the pen. We need danger pay. If you actually didn't sucker inmates and treated inmates properly, I guarantee you, my word on my dead kids, that the jails would start flipping around where there wouldn't be riots, there wouldn't be none of this danger thing. You literally sat there and locked a bunch of us up, treat us like shit, make us like we're animals.
Yeah.
We're getting, when we can eat, when we can sleep, when we can call our family, when we can visit our family, when we can go to school and program. Okay, well, start treating us like humans, and we wouldn't be acting the way we act.
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And then when people bring up stuff about like violence on the inside, it's like, who are the violent ones though? Like, who are the ones who have the power to beat you to death? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are the ones who have the power to call you names and do this stuff to people who are suicidal? Do they have any training at all, these people? Like, is there any training for COs, like, whatsoever?
There was a guy that hung himself because he literally asked for help, and he didn't get help, so he hung himself. Like, he died because a guard laughed at him and made fun of him, and he was on a mental health unit. Like, the guards literally have the most power where they can block out cameras, they can take guys for elevator up. People in the community, if you see that doesn't happen, then you really, really, really need to step back and rethink everything, because I'm telling you right now, it happened.
Oh yeah, you're like, for as far as what you're saying to me, like, you're preaching to the choir. Like, I know exactly what goes on in there. And we're happy to get your story out. And if you want to call us again, I got little kids here and they're hungry. So I gotta go feed them before there's a mutiny here. But I really appreciate it. And you have our number for the show here. And if anything comes up or you want to talk more about politics, you give us a call.
Alrighty, I will. Thank you.
And I want to thank you very much, because that's brave. We need brave and courageous people right now in society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks again. Well, maybe we'll hear from you again.
Oh yeah, I'm not I'm not done. I'll be talking to you guys again.
Yeah. Well, I'll be waiting here. I like ideas.
Alrighty.
Okay, thanks to you. Okay, we'll talk to you again. Bye.